All right. I think that's everything. So much setup every day. Yeah. All right. Oh, and the other thing is to make sure that this works. Let's see. Yes. Oh, wonderful. Oops. Wonderful. All right. I don't need to see myself. That's just, no one needs to see that, right? Please make sure those masks are up and covering your nose and your mouth the entire time you are in here for every single class. I know they're annoying. I get it, but it's the safe thing to do, and we're going to do it every day, okay? All right, so I guess it's time. Anyway, so welcome to Chem 109 3M, General Organic and Biological Chemistry. So in case you don't know me, I am Dr. Sarah Badgerow. Everybody kind of calls me Dr. B around here. I am an assistant professor of chemistry. So I have a BS in microbiology with a minor in chemistry from University of Louisiana at Lafayette. And then I have a PhD in molecular and cellular biology that I got in the biochemistry lab from the University of Iowa. So I was 7 years in a very, very cold place, right? I'm Louisiana born, and that was really difficult for me. That and the food. Y'all know the food down here is awesome. So I missed that, but I was happy to come back. And then while I was here, I actually have a Master's of Art in Teaching in Secondary Science Education from right here at Nichols. So I love science, and I also, I'm always thinking about how I can be a better educator too. So what I want you to take away today is that I'm here to help you. I'm here to make sure that you succeed. So I have your back, right? But you have to put in the work too, right? It can't be one-sided. I can work as hard as I can, but you have to put in your share too. So if you're struggling, do you wait? And don't email me, or don't, I'll show you some different ways to communicate with me to make it easy, or go to tutoring, or there are lots of different options, but do you wait? Don't wait. Chemistry builds, you'll see an exam covers chapters, 1 through 3, right? And then you think that material's done, but it's not. It's going to be on the next exam, the next exam. It just inherently is. That's the way chemistry works. So if you miss something, it's really, really, really important to go back and get it, okay? And I'd really love to know that you're missing something before we have an exam, right? That's when we want to find out. We want to find out before the exam. So I'm going to give you lots of different ways to make sure that you are on track and that you're getting everything that you need, okay? So don't ever feel like you can't contact me. Please, please, please do that, okay? Always, always come and contact me. So this is my family. This is my son, Charles. And y'all will get to hear lots of little Charles stories. So he's in the 4th grade. And currently in the 4th grade, the cool thing is to have a joke every single day to bring to class, right? So I decided to share this with all of my classes. So every day I'm going to come in, and the first thing I love to start class with is a joke. Now, do not get your hopes up too high. These are 4th grade jokes, okay? So they're not really high quality. So I'll start you off. What did the judge say to the dentist? Do you swear to pull the whole tooth, only the tooth and nothing but the tooth? That's the quality we're looking for, okay? They'll be fun and entertaining. And we have a new addition to our family that we got last summer. This is Rosie down there at the bottom. Rosie is a Great Dane. And I think in that picture, she's like 6 or 7 months old. She's still got a ways to go. And she's already humongous. So, so we're loving that. All right, so always contact me, always, 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 all right? I want to make sure you succeed because you're gonna need this material in the future, right? You're gonna see how really relevant it is. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna pull up our Moodle site. Our Moodle site has tons and tons and tons of information on it. So I really want to make sure you know where everything is and that you can get set up. So I'm hoping everybody has some kind of a device with them today, even if it's just a phone, so you can kind of go along with us and you can see where everything is, that kind of thing. So up here at the top, this is my contact information. So you are welcome to come to my office, room 132. So if you go out this door, instead of going all the way out, right, make a left. And I'm the very first hallway on the right. So I'm like catty corner right there if you need me. This is my office phone. You can call my office phone. You can email me. Email is a great way. I'm pretty quick on emails. And then the other way that you can get in touch with me is you can actually make an appointment with me. So what I've done is I've created this calendar, and all you do is click this link and it takes you to my calendar. And you can pick a day and you can see all the open appointments that are available on that day. So let's say I want, next Tuesday at 1:30. So you pick it, you confirm it, and you tell me about yourself. Do you want to meet on Zoom? I'm happy to meet on Zoom. Do you want to meet in my office? I'm happy to do that. And tell me what class it is. Oh, I have to fix that. That's last semester's classes. I have to fix that. I'm glad I pulled that up. And then tell me, like, I'm struggling on chapter 1, dimensional analysis, whatever it is, so that I have the right things ready to go for our time together so that we can make the best of that time. Okay, so always contact me. That's the easiest. You're automatically on my calendar. You're not like stopping by my office and I'm not there, right? That's absolutely the easiest way. Okay, so let's kind of go through this from top to bottom. Homework and ebook link. Now, raise your hand if you are doing the book bundle. Most people probably are. Okay, so if you are doing the book bundle, now I'm going to give you the instructions if you're opting out. So just wait. If you're opting out, don't do anything. If you are opting in, right here, you go to course materials and it will eventually load, I promise. And there's something that says reveal access code. If you reveal the access code, you opt in. So do not click this button if you are opting out. Okay, you will get an access code. Once you get that access code, which I can't get because I'm not that student, you come to this, My Lab and Mastering Tools. This is going to get you to the textbook, to the homework, to everything that you need. So you click My Lab and Mastering. Now it's going to be different for me because I'm a professor, but you would click this big yellow button right here and open My Lab and Mastering, and you would put in all your information. You have to accept the terms, and then you have to put in your access code. And that access code will get you into my class because you're going through Moodle. So it'll know that you're in Dr. B's class. Okay, now that's for my opting in people. If you opt out, okay, I get it. What you're going to do is you are not going to click on course materials. You're going to go straight to My Lab and Mastering. And either you've purchased an access code from the publisher's website, you've gotten an access code from the bookstore, you went on Amazon, you got an access code. Wherever you get your access code, because you're going to need one to do the homework is all online, you're going to go to this button and you're going to enter that information. Okay, so everybody will eventually end up here. If I want to go and complete homework 1, what link do I use? The My Lab and Mastering tool. Okay, this course materials link is only there for people who have opted in and need to get their subscription code, their access code. Does that make sense? Questions so far? Please make sure your masks are covering your nose and your mouth at all times. Because if we can't do that, I will ask you to leave. So let's not do that this semester. All right, there are instructions, step-by-step instructions for both. So if you need that to go back to, they're there. If you ever have a technical issue, this is all the information for how to contact Pearson, right? You can search the support content, you can contact them, all that kind of stuff, okay? Pretty good on that? Yeah? Okay, so we did that one. Now, course information. If I have an announcement that I want to give the class, I always put it here. That way you can always go back and find it again. Like, oh, what did Dr. B say about homework 3? Did she push the date back on that? It'll be here so that you can kind of keep track of that and always go back to it. So my question is, has anyone showed you how to make sure that you get an email when I post in announcements? Do y'all know how to do that? I see some no's. Okay, so I'm going to show you. You go to your name up at the top, and you're going to go to this little tool, preferences. When you go there, you're going to see notification preferences. So when you follow notification preferences, what you're going to see is, for me, this is what I've done. Everything for email is on. That way I get an email anytime something happens. I don't remember what, some of this is because I'm a professor, I don't. But what I would do for y'all is I would just turn everything green. And then if you get too many emails, you can go back and adjust that. But I would put everything green. Does that make sense? Yeah, okay. All right, so let's go back to Moodle, back to the regular class. Okay, so that's announcements. Now, I said you can contact me if you have a question, and absolutely, please do that. But sometimes if you have a question about it, somebody else in the class is going to have a similar question. So if it's content-based, like when you're doing a hydration reaction, where do you put the second hydrogen? Something like that. You can put this into the course questions forum, and I'll answer it, and then everybody gets the answer. Or even if you're a student and you know the answer, go ahead and post it. I'm going to get a notification, so I'm going to be monitoring it at all times. So I'll go, oh, wait, no, you should really do this. So I'll be monitoring it, but please, please, please use it. I found it to be really, really helpful. Like if you're doing a homework and you struggle, you can take a screenshot and post it. Hey, I'm doing this homework. I drew this molecule. It's telling me it's wrong. I don't know what I think it's right. And somebody can help you. Okay. So if you have the question, somebody else does too. So that should be a really good place for y'all to do that. I have kind of a welcome letter you can go through and read. Just kind of gives you general information about the class and how it's going to run. I've run this class in the past as a flipped classroom, but we're not going to flip this semester. We're going to try it out as a regular lecture class. So we'll see how it goes. I've posted your syllabus. I want to go over a few details in your syllabus, but I'm telling you to read your syllabus. There's lots of information in there. You need to read the syllabus. All my contact information is there. Again, the link is there, and I have a QR code. So if you just want to scan the QR code, it'll take you to my appointment calendar. You do need either a hard copy of the textbook and then access to My Lab and Mastery, or if you don't care about a hard book, you can just get the access, and it will give you an ebook and it will give you homework. Okay, so you don't need a hard copy if you don't want one. I'm a hard copy person, but not everybody is. All right, you will also need a calculator. So I don't care what kind of calculator you have, it needs to be scientific, and it can't be your phone or your watch. Something like this. Doesn't matter to me. I think these are like $10 at Walmart, something like that. They're cheap, but if you have a TI, if you have a big one, go ahead and use it, whatever you're comfortable with, okay? But make sure that whatever calculator you use in the classroom, and whatever calculator you're using for homework, use that same calculator on the exam. Otherwise, you're going to freak out. Where's this button? How do I do that, right? So try to use the same calculator throughout. There'll be some things I'll post to Moodle throughout, and I'll show you how to get lecture slides and all that. You will need an eye clicker, either app on your phone or handheld eye clicker. Have y'all, anybody used eye clicker before? Nobody? Okay, that's okay. That's okay. So I'm going to show you, I have kind of a walk you through what you do. Okay, so if you opted into the book bundle, you should have gotten a handheld eye clicker. Did a few people get a handheld eye clicker from the bookstore? Some people, yeah. So if you got a handheld eye clicker from the bookstore, you should have also gotten a subscription code. And that subscription code will give you access to have eye clicker on your phone. Okay. So if you have your phone or you have an eye clicker, you can take it out. So I'm going to walk you through what to do. So there are a couple of different ways that you can participate in class. This is one of the things that I do for participation points, is use these clickers for y'all to answer questions during class time. So you could use your phone. You could use your computer. I see a few people with computers or iPads or whatever it is. You can use that. Or you can use the handheld remote. The only thing I have to say is you can only use one device per class period. So if you plan to use your computer and your computer dies in the middle of class, don't try to use your handheld eye clicker because it will freak out and it won't work. So one device per class period. That makes sense? But if you have a handheld eye clicker and you forget it at home, don't worry. You have your phone. You can participate with your phone. Okay, so either one would work. So if you have a computer, a phone, anything, you can set up your iClicker account right now. So no matter what device you are using, you have to set up an iClicker account. You have to. So I'm going to walk you through how to do that. So you go to iClicker.com. So when you go to iClicker.com on your computer, or you can download, you go to the App Store and you get the iClicker app. I think it'll say, like, in parentheses, used to be Reef on your phone. And you're going to select whichever device you use, you're going to select sign up to create your account. Okay. So nobody in here should have an iClicker account because nobody raised their hand and said they used it before. Right. But so if you have an account, all you have to do is sign into your account. So the first thing it's going to ask you to do is, where are you? And you have to tell it you're at Nichols State University. So you type that in to find your institution. And y'all, I'm going to post this recording from today. So if you don't have it with you right now, you can always come back to the recording and you can follow along. Okay, so once you pick Nichols, then you're going to create your account. This is really important. Your name and email and IN number must match what is in Banner. If it doesn't, the two accounts won't link. Okay, so type in your first name just like you see it in Banner. Type in your last name, Banner, Moodle, right? It's the same system. Type in your first name, your last name, your university email. So what does your university email end in? At nichols.edu. Yep. And then your student ID should be your IN number. Right? It'll be N00 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, right? And then create and confirm your password. And then you create your account and you're ready to go. You have an account. Now you need to make sure that you enroll in My Class. So you would touch, there's a plus sign in the upper screen. I guess I didn't show it here, but there's a plus sign like in the top corner, and that's a plus to add a class. So you first go find your institution, you enter Nichols again, then in find your course, just type in Chem 109, and it should be the only 109 that pops up. And you should click on it once, and you should see all of these details that it says Chem 109, 3M, Spring 22, and it's me, Dr. Sarah Bajral. It's Spring 22. It started yesterday, basically, and these are our meeting times. And then you click add the course, okay? And that's my other class. Okay, so now what do you do if you're a person who has a handheld remote and you want to use it? So now that you've made your account, it's going to ask you, do you have an iClicker remote? And if you take that iClicker remote and turn it over, there's a code, there's an 8-digit code on the back of that remote. And you enter that 8-digit code right here to register your remote. Because if you don't, and you use your eye clicker and then you use your phone, it'll look like two separate things. And I won't know who that eye clicker is assigned to, and you won't get the points for that. So you have to make sure to link your eye clicker to your account. Okay, good? Yeah? All right, and then you can change at any time your name if you need to change it, your eye clicker remote ID, all that kind of stuff. You can change it anytime. This is not your only chance, right? You should have, because if you opted in, you should already have your subscription code. It should have come with your remote. So if not, there's a 14-day trial period, right? That you can start your account right now. And then you can pay for it whenever you're ready. So that you can participate, because I will be running eye clicker questions the next time I see you. So do you need to get it set up between now and the next class? Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay. And you should be ready to go, right? Let's see. And so then you're going to get this little like readout, and it'll tell you how you're doing, what's your score on eye clicker. It'll tell you your attendance. It's a really great system. It lets you keep track of everything. So how is that going to work? Well, I'm going to scroll down in my syllabus, and I'm going to tell you just a little bit about grading, right? So your eye clicker questions here, I don't know how many we're going to have in the semester. So basically what I do is I set it to 100, right? 100% is perfect. But y'all are in class. I don't expect you to get everyone right. So what I do is I take your eye clicker score and I put a 20-point curve on it. So if you have a 70C in eye clicker, what's your real score on Moodle? A 90A. And an eye clicker, your eye clicker score counts for 12% of your final overall grade. That's about the same weight as a regular exam, right? Because we're going to give 4 exams, but I'm going to drop your lowest exam score. So you only really have 3, right? So that's 12%. Each exam is 12%. What's your eye clicker? 12%. Isn't that kind of nice? Yeah. So do your eye clicker. That's my thing. Do your eye clicker. You're going to have homework for every chapter in My Lab and Mastering Chemistry, that link that I showed you. That's going to be worth 24% of your grade. It is really important that you practice these concepts and make sure that you know what you're doing before you get to an exam. So it's a large portion of your grade. And in every single homework assignment, I have built-in bonus questions. So if you do a few extra problems, every homework assignment, you get a few bonus points. It's going to really have a big effect on your grade. I don't do bonus points at the end of the semester. I don't do bonus points on exams. You're going to get bonus points in the homework. Okay. So there are lots of places for a little wiggle room, right? You get 1 exam dropped, your lowest exam score drops. You have bonus points inside your homework, and you have a 20-point curve on your eye clicker score. So there's lots and lots of wiggle room. And then you're going to have a comprehensive final exam. That means that everything that I teach you from today on is going to be on the final exam. Okay. So if you miss a concept, stop. Come, let me help you and we'll get it. Okay. The only other thing on here are mini homeworks, and I'm going to show you what those mini homeworks are in just a bit. But it's a regular 10-point grading scale. And in Moodle, I think it shows you decimals, but I round to the nearest whole number. Okay. All right. Let's see. Let's go back. So how do you know what we're going to cover in class? Right under the syllabus is a link for our class calendar. These are all of the topics that we're going to cover down to the section. See if I can zoom out just a little bit. Okay. So today, hopefully we'll get into sections 1 and 2. If not, we'll have time to pick them up on Friday and Monday. But this has not only what we're going to cover in lecture, but it also has every single assignment in red. So what do you have on Friday? 2 mini homeworks. Mini homework A and B are due on Friday evening. Everything for me is due at 11:59 p.m. So make sure you submit it before midnight. And then highlighted in red are our exams. Okay, and you can go, it goes all the way through the end of the semester. It has all of our holidays. It even has drop day. Drop day is much later this semester. You'll actually have all 4 of your regular exams before drop day. So I think that's going to be really, really great for you guys. And then final exam will be on the Friday, that first Friday. Okay. So this calendar is updated. If anything happens, I'm going to change the calendar, right? So this is a great place to keep coming back to. Okay. All right. I did run this class as a flipped class before. So I have pre-recorded lectures of every single topic of every single section. So if you're like, wow, I just didn't get that in class today, you can go here and there's a video for every section. Isn't that kind of awesome? I've also posted, if I get to the beginning, a video mini homework A tutorial on how to draw molecules in MyLab and Mastery. This would be a really good one to watch before you try to go do your mini homework so that you know what buttons to click. It gets kind of complicated. So it's a pretty nice little thing. So that's a great resource for you. Let's see. Eye Clicker information, it's just got the website to travel to and not a big deal. Final grade calculator. This is good if you're getting close to drop day and you're like, whoa, what do I need in order to get the grade that I want? So you click on the link and you actually have to download it. If I started editing this, everybody would see my grades, right? I don't really want that. So you have to download it to your computer. It's an Excel file. And then you type in your current scores that you'll find on Moodle. And I don't know why it's taken so long. There it is. So you just type in, and I've highlighted here which grades you need to add. So if you need help using it, you can always make an appointment and I'll help you. If for some reason, I hope not, you get COVID or you are in close contact with someone who has COVID, you have to use this COVID reporting form. It's a Google form, and then send me an email. Dr. B, you know, I tested positive or I was in close contact, whatever it is, just tell me. Which is why I have a Zoom meeting set up for every class. Now, not everybody can join it. There's a waiting room. So you have to be admitted. So if you think you need to be on Zoom for whatever reason, you need to send me an email. And it can't be, I want to stay in my pajamas today. You can wear your pajamas to class, I don't care. You gotta come to class. Okay. So if you're sick, whatever it is, it doesn't have to be COVID. If you're sick, please don't come, you know, send me an email. Okay. All right. And then the last thing here is our seating chart. So what I need for y'all to do, this is basically a map of the class. So what I need for you to do is to actually enter your names in the seat that you are in. So I'm going to help you. So this row is row A, right? You're A2, A, then it's 3, you're 4, 5, right? And then you can see the walkway. So you would be 9A, right? So count how many chairs are in front of you. So this is A, B, C, D, E, F, G. In the back, it's A, B, C, nobody's in the front seat, D, E, F, G, H, right? So go ahead and put your name in. This is a seating chart that will not change. You have to come in and sit in these seats every single day, okay? It's for contact tracing, so that if somebody gets sick, we know who to contact. Not the way I like to do it, but it's okay. So if you cannot enter it into the seating chart, come and see me, and we'll enter it in up here together, okay? Good. All right, the other thing that we can do while everybody's doing this is that you should, if you have registered on your Eye Clicker, you should be able to join class right now. So on your Eye Clicker handheld, you can click any button and it should put you on the roster. Or if you have your phone or computer, whatever it is, you should be able to join right now. So I'll leave this up. I'll let it run all class period. And at the end, if you want to come up and see is my name up there, we can check. How do you join from what? The sheet? So on your phone or your handheld eye clicker, if you're on your handheld eye clicker, you click any button. If you're on your phone, your iPad, your computer, you pull up the app and you click join class because you'll see it's active. So those are the two things y'all could be doing right now. All right. Give y'all a few minutes. Okay, let's see. I gotta go through my checklist, see everything. Oh, this is my other note I have for y'all. Anytime you're logging into Moodle to go to the textbook, for reading the book, for doing a homework, make sure to try to use Chrome if possible. Chrome works the best with the book website. So try to use Chrome. Okay, we did that. Okay. So the other option, if you are struggling, right, you can always come see me. But if this is your first chemistry class, like you didn't take chemistry in high school, or you have a really shaky high school chemistry background, the Tutoring Center is really, really amazing. And the contact info for the Tutoring Center is on the syllabus, kind of towards the bottom, I do believe. Let's see. Where did I put it? Here, assisting with studying and assignments. The Tutoring Center is awesome. It's $25 per semester per credit hour. So $75, and you can go to the Tutoring Center as much as you want this semester. Excuse me, for Chem 109. It's a good deal. It's a really good deal. So they're really, really helpful. Let's see, what else do I have? We did class calendar. To that. Okay, so I think, any questions before we move on? And you can always come and see me if you need help, always, always. Okay, so I'm gonna look down here at mini homeworks because this is what's due first for y'all. So the very first homework assignment, mini homework A, is just how do you use the homework system, right? Because it's something you've probably never done before. So in this assignment, you, oh, I just got to change that, but I got to change that. It's different. You're going to do this one. You just go to open MyLab and mastering. I got to change that. It changes every semester. Drives me crazy. But you go to MyLab and mastering and you go to the very first mini homework A. And so it just exposes you to what are the questions going to look like? How do I type in my answers? How do I use the drawing program? That kind of stuff. It's actually going to even prompt you to put some wrong answers, just so that you see what happens. So when you're doing a normal homework assignment for me, you get 5 tries on every single problem. And it usually will tell you, okay, that was wrong. Do you have caps lock on, right? You weren't supposed to have. Or it'll tell you you have a superscript error, right? It kind of helps you. And if you're doing the homework and you submitted like 3 or 4 times and you're like, I know this is right, take a screenshot, send me an email. Dr. B, this is what I'm doing. I don't know why it's wrong. Can you help me? If you show me your work or, take a screenshot of that and then it was a problem, it was a math problem, right? Take a picture of your handwritten work, send it to me in an email with a screenshot and say, what did I do wrong? And I can help you. The point is for you to get it right, to learn how to do it with the homework before you get to the exam. Okay? So always, always, always feel like you can contact me. Good? Yeah? Always, always contact me, always. Okay, mini homework B has nothing to do with the regular homework system. What I want you to do for B is everybody's got a mask on, right? And it's so hard to know what y'all look like. So what I'm asking is that everybody post like a headshot of themselves in the last 6 months on the Moodle page. So I can see you because I never get to see you, right? So I show you how to do it. This step-by-step shows you where to go in your profile, shows you how to do it. It's easiest, I think, on a computer, but whatever works for you. And then the second part is a little Google form, and it says that you've read and agree with the syllabus, and it has a few questions for you to answer, okay? And that's it. So it's not hard stuff that's due on Friday. It's really not. Okay, good so far? Not overwhelmed yet? Good, good. It's not so bad. It's really not so bad. All right, so, and then mini homework C will be like later in the semester. So I'll give you that information as that comes out. So then if you go down, I've separated all of the content into exams. So the first unit is just 2 chapters, and that's everything for exam 1. So if you look here and you click on chapter 1, see if I can open it, you'll have some important things here in chapter 1, and you can use these to follow along in class. Oh, poor internet. This is not good. Okay, while this is loading, I'll tell you another joke. I have another joke. What kind of a reptile uses a toilet? A Komodo dragon. A Komodo dragon. 4th grade quality, right? 4th grade quality. All right, it's not loading for me right now. I don't know if it's loading for other people. Do y'all see it? Yes. Oh, here it goes. Okay, so the lecture slides, this is what I'm going to teach from in class. There are problems at the end of every section within the textbook. They are great for extra practice. And sometimes in class, we'll work on some of them if we have time. And then in some of the videos, I work on a couple of problems from there. So any problems that you see in a recorded video, they come from these in-class, I call them in-class problems, but they're really end of section problems, okay? So you don't have to watch these videos, but you can. They're just extra material for you. And then sometimes at the bottom, see, I have an extra video of this or that, whatever it is, but just kind of look through it, and that's all your content for that chapter. And then sometimes on something that's a difficult topic, I'll do some extra things. So this is an extra balancing equations tutorial, because that's something that I know that students typically struggle with, okay? So use these. I have good news for you though. You ready for some good news? In this class, you are going to gain a best friend. Isn't that good? So your best friend is right here. And above every single exam, you're going to have this. This is what I'm going to give you for every exam. So my suggestion to you is to print it out now. Have it next to you for every homework. Have it next to you during lecture. Make it your best friend. So I'm going to call it the semester as your best friend, but it's really like exam resources. You'll get a periodic table. Do you have to memorize what every single element symbol is? No. You will go faster through the exam if you know what the big ones are, but if you ever forget, you can come and look it up, right? You'll have that on the exam. Then you'll have extra stuff. Now, a best friend will grow with you. So this is what you will get on exam 1. Exam 2, I'm going to take this, I'm going to add some stuff. Exam 3, I'm going to add some stuff. Exam 4, I'm going to add some stuff. So you're going to get a little packet with every exam, and it's your best friend. So use your best friend. Your best friend has formulas, conversions, polyatomic ions, all kinds of stuff. Okay, so print it out and use it. If you want to go to the final exam, right here, final exam resources, this is everything. So you just print once, right? And then it has everything. Does that make sense? So your best friend grows with you. Isn't that nice? Okay. Any questions? This is the entire Moodle page. We've gone through everything. Any questions? You can always ask in class. Please ask in class. If you have the question, somebody else does too. Okay, all right. And I'm going to post, the only thing that I still have left to post is a link, and it'll go right under the Zoom meeting of the class recordings. I don't have any yet, but I'll have one today. And I'll post a link so you can always go back and it'll say Zoom recordings of class time. Okay, it's the only other thing that I'll add. All right, so now we can go on and get started, right? How long do we have? A short amount of time, but that's okay. All right. I want full screen. Ooh. What did I? Oh, come on. Full screen. Okay. So our very first chapter is really the basics of chemistry. We're going to talk about how we organize matter, and we're going to talk math, right? So these are, it's a really fundamental concepts in chemistry that we're going to cover first. So if you want to follow along, I posted these slides, but there's something I forgot to tell y'all. I did forget this, and I want to say this before I even if I don't cover any material today, I don't care. I want you to hear this. How do you prepare before you come to class? You don't have to. You could go and watch, but that's what we're going to cover in class. Read the textbook. If I say I'm covering sections 1 and 2 today, go and read chapter 1, sections 1 and 2 before you come to class. Because the first time you see something new, it's more challenging than the second time, right? So if you read before you come, you're going to already have an idea of what I'm going to talk about, and you're going to get way more out of lecture. If you don't read before you come to class, it's going to be a struggle. Please, please, please read before you come to class. And as you're reading, if you come across what is that? Write the question down, bring it to class, ask. But I'm telling you, reading is so important. So that's the before class you read, you come to class, you take notes, you ask questions, you participate in Eye Clicker. What do you do when you go home? Well, yes, study, absolutely. So part of studying is doing your homework, right? Practicing those problems. But is that the only thing that you can do? No, there are lots of other things that you can do too. You can do flashcards. Flashcards are good for certain concepts. Now, my only caveat to that is if you do a flashcard, either verbally say the answer before you flip the card, or have a sheet of paper and write what you think the answer is before you flip the card. Because lots of people will pull up a card and they'll flip it when they think they know the answer. But are you really testing yourself? No. So do that extra step if you do flashcards. You can do the extra problems at the end of the section or at the end of the chapter. The answers to all the odd numbered problems are in the textbook. So it depends on if you're online or if you've got a hard copy where exactly the answers are. But if you need help with that, I can help you. Do some extra practice problems on the ones that you know you're struggling with. I know I'm struggling balancing chemical equations. Go do those extra problems, right? The more practice you do on your own, the better you're going to do on the exam. And then if you're still struggling, come see me for help. Okay? So active learning, not just reading your notes. Reading your notes is not active learning, and it's not going to be very beneficial. It's really not. That make sense? Okay. And you can always come and ask me for help. Always, always. All right. So what is matter? Matter is anything that takes up space and weighs something. So in scientific terms, take up space is volume, right? And we're going to use these scientific terms. And something that weighs something, we call that mass. So when we look at matter, all matter has volume and mass. But not all matter is the same. And so we have to talk about how we classify matter. So if we look at our big diagram, right? So matter, we could write ourselves a little note up here that says mass and volume. I'm a big proponent of labeling things. I think it helps me to organize information and then retain it. So there are two major divisions of matter, either pure substances or mixtures. The way that you know the difference between the two is a pure substance. What do you think of when you hear pure? One thing, right? One thing. So a pure substance either has one square on the periodic table, right? See the periodic table up on either side of the wall? One square is an element. So an element has what's called a symbol, right? So look at the very first one, hydrogen. What's hydrogen's symbol? Shout it out, it's okay. Number one, up in the top corner, the red one, H. That's the symbol for hydrogen. Each element has a unique symbol. No other element on the periodic table has the symbol H, right? That tells me that it is a pure substance and it is an element. There are some, if you look, for example, at H, it just says H. But if I look here, do you see my examples? Gold and hydrogen. What's different about that hydrogen in the right here versus what's on the table? It has a 2. There are some elements on the periodic table that we call diatomic elements. And basically they're not happy unless they have a buddy. And so they don't exist by themselves. They exist with a buddy. So hydrogen, some examples are in our column 17. We have chlorine, bromine, iodine, fluorine, oxygen, nitrogen. Those are all elements that exist as diatomic elements. And so we'll talk about those later, but I just want to point that out. So our other example is gold. Can you find gold? What blue number does gold have? 79. 79. So AU is gold. That's kind of weird, right? Why is gold AU? So some of the symbols are based on their Latin names, which, you know, like sodium Na, what's up with that? It's based on a Latin name. Okay, so that's one type of pure substance. The other type of pure substance is a compound. So if I take multiple squares, SQ, on the periodic table and put them together in one formula, that is a compound. So look at our examples. Water, H2O. How many squares from the periodic table am I using? Hydrogen's 1, oxygen's 1, right? So I have 2 squares. Table sugar, C12H22O11. How many squares did I use to make sugar? 3. Carbon, which is C, H, which is hydrogen, and O, which is oxygen, right? So y'all see how we're combining squares on the periodic table. Now the deal with pure substances is you can't change pure substances. You can't separate them without changing what it is. So if I, for example, took table sugar and I pulled out the carbon, would I still have table sugar? No, absolutely not. So you can't separate it. So for these two in pure substances, you can't separate. CPER, separate. So what do you think about mixtures? They're the opposite, right? So in mixtures, we can separate components. We have 2 different kinds of mixtures. Either they are homogeneous mixtures or heterogeneous mixtures. Homogeneous mixtures, the homo means same. So it's the same throughout. So if I took an example of sugar water, right? I'm making Kool-Aid. I pour a bunch of sugar in. Can you tell the difference between the sugar and the water after you stir it up? I mean, no, right? Salt water. If I pour salt into water, Can you tell the difference? No, right? So if you can't tell the difference, then it is a homogeneous mixture. If you take an aspirin tablet and you break it in half, it looks the same, right? Throughout the entire thing. So that's another example of a homogeneous mixture. A heterogeneous mixture means you can see the different components. So you can see the different components. Their example here is a fish tank, right? You can see the different things that make up the fish tank: the water, the rocks at the bottom, the fish, the plants you put in, the thermometer on the side of the tank, right? All that kind of stuff. A pizza is an example of a heterogeneous mixture, right? You could pick off those mushrooms. You don't like those mushrooms, you just take those out, right? A salad, I don't like tomatoes, I'm gonna pick my tomatoes out, right? Same thing. Vegetable soup, you don't like the peas, take the peas out, right? You can see the difference. But if I take the peas out, I still have peas and I still have vegetable soup, right? If I take my mushrooms off my pizza, I still have mushrooms and pizza. I didn't alter them. That's the difference between a mixture and a pure substance. Make sense? Okay, what time are we in? 35, right? Yeah. Y'all have to like watch the clock. I get so excited about science that I just love it. Okay, so we already said matter is anything that, right, takes up space and has mass, has a weight to it. So we said there are two types, right? Pure substances and mixtures. Our pure substances are either elements or compounds. Where do we find elements? Periodic table, right? That's where we find elements. Where do we find compounds? Same thing, except we're taking multiple squares from that periodic table, right? And turning them into one compound. Then you can have mixtures. So our mixtures, we can actually separate. That's why we call them a mix, right? It's not, we didn't create something new. We just put two things together, or three things, or five things, or whatever it is. Okay. So pure substance, by definition, is matter that's made up of only one type of substance. This is why H2 is okay, because H2 is two atoms of what? If I have H2, what does this tell me? I have two atoms of hydrogen. So does that fit my definition of a pure substance? It's made up of only one type of substance. Yes, it's only made up of hydrogen. And it can be represented with one chemical formula or symbol. Yes. Okay, Br2 is the same thing. It's two atoms of bromine. So that little 2, do y'all know what that little 2 is called? It's called a subscript, right? Like a submarine goes under the water. So subscript is the low number. And that number always tells you the number of atoms. If you don't see anything there, if you just saw AU, what would that be? One atom of gold, right? If nothing's there, you assume it is a 1. Okay. All right. So an element is the simplest type of matter because it's only made up of that one type of matter, right? Only one. And an atom is the smallest unit of that element. If you go smaller, now we're talking about subatomic particles. We're talking about protons, neutrons, electrons, and that doesn't tell you you have one particular kind of substance. So the atom is the smallest that you can get and still be hydrogen or still be gold. So we can take our elements and we can put them together and make compounds. And those compounds are pure substances made of two or more elements chemically joined together. So for example, C6H12O6. What did we say that was? Do y'all remember? That's sugar. That's sugar. So what is this H6, H12, O6. What, good Lord, what are all those numbers? I have how many carbon atoms? I have 6 carbon atoms. I have how many hydrogen atoms? 12 hydrogen. And I have 6 oxygen. And in order to have sugar, I have to have this ratio of all of those different atoms. And they have to actually be put together in a particular way, but we're not ready for that yet. Okay. So the other side of that diagram, right? You could have a pure substance or you could have a mixture. So the other side of that diagram was the mixture. The mixture is the combination of 2 or more substances. So those 2 or more substances are something that I've built together on the periodic table, and then I'm going to combine them. So I'm going to put salt in water, right? So salt's a compound, water's a compound. I'm going to put them together in a mixture. Now I can separate it. How could I separate salt water? Boil it, evaporation, right? If I boil it, the water turns to steam, right? And then what am I left with at the bottom? Salt. That's how we have salt domes under the earth, right? It's great vast oceans that basically evaporated and left behind massive amounts of salt, which is really cool. So then you can have that homogeneous and heterogeneous mixture. Homogeneous was like salt water, right? We can't see the difference. And the heterogeneous was like our pizza that we wanted to pick our mushrooms off of, right? I actually love mushrooms. I'm picking on mushrooms because I love them. I love them. Okay, so I think, is that it for today? Yeah, we'll call it right there for today. So let me know if you are unable to check in on Clicker for attendance, you need to come up here and sign the attendance form. If you are not able to do iClicker, please come and sign the attendance form. And I'm happy to scroll through if you want to try to find your name. See if I can make it bigger. So, yeah, just sign your name. So you know how to get iClicker though? Yes, ma'am. Okay, so if you need help, send me an email. Okay. And y'all, so what's going on?
Oh, yeah, might be good. I just have to figure it out.
Okay, and I'm going to post a recording, so if you need to go over anything that we did in class, you can have it. Yeah.
I have mine and it's like set up. I just couldn't figure out how to like click on it.
It's on. You got it?
Yeah, I had it on, but like.
You have the handheld, or you have?
Yes,
you do it on the phone?
actually,
You're checked in. Yes, you are. You're good.
I couldn't figure out how to like tap in attendance on it.
So did you link this to your account?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So then, AA, you should be good. Okay, it should have you press any button and it should have worked. Which name?
Emily Adams.
Emily Adams. Oh, it's not showing. And you have your phone to like show your login?
I did it. I like made my account on my computer and then I linked my thing and
sign in just in case. Sure.
So I take the textbook with a local library, and it she gave me an access code, I believe. So,
Yeah.
Does that give what you were talking about a separate access code for something?
For the iClicker. So this little thing, you have that in the bundle. So it should have come also with the subscription code. If y'all need to sign in, come sign in.
Okay, so the textbook I bought should come with an access code.
Right,
as
there
well?
should be 2 access codes. One, if you opted in, you get it by going to course materials in Moodle, and the other should have been did you get a card? How did it come?
it came in a box.
It came in a box, and it didn't have it.
Okay.
So the one code is on Moodle. Yeah, you just have to go to course materials and reveal it. And then the other one should be in the box.
Okay. All right.
Good.
Thank you.
Let me know if you have any problems.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know why it's not showing up on the thing.
Okay, let me close this.
I went on my computer to try to do the attendance on there,
But it
but
wouldn't.
there wasn't like a button or anything. So.
Try it on your phone. Try to download it on your phone.
Oh,
Why is this not closing? It's like nothing wants to close. Yes, there we go. I'm sorry.
I have time with this. That's fine.
You're always behind me. I'm so sorry.